Our next speaker is Brant Meadows.
Commissioners, I heard Brad Wilkins recently request that the jail and courthouse be the only items on the SPLOST ballot and not the rest of the court. I agree with that fiscal responsibility. The reasonable voice says you don't have to do business with the city of Cumming. The unreasonable voice says, let me remind you that the city of Cumming buildings is paid for, yours is not. The reasonable voice says, according to SPLOST rules, Forsyth County can bypass the city of Cumming regarding Tier 1 SPLOST projects like the jail and the courthouse. The unreasonable voice says, if you bypass the city of Cumming, the city will have to raise alcohol rates. The reasonable voice says, if you bypass the city of Cumming as allowed for in SPLOST rules for Tier 1 projects, that means you aren't required to get the permission of the city of Cumming. The unreasonable voice says the city of Cumming doesn't seem to have the infighting that you fellas have with the project list regarding the old Atlanta Road improvements. The reasonable voice says the city of Cumming is in agreement and they're ready to take the money if you'll give it to them. The unreasonable voice says this ain't no blank check this time. The reasonable voice says the city of Cumming won't need to file any lawsuits this time because what the big print giveth, the little print taketh away. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Charlotte Gardner.
Thank you. Here's your fan.
We've had a lot of private meetings, but I don't know of any secret meetings we've had. And I appreciate the board that's been able to come across the street, and I've come over here and us work on this. And we have a consensus of unanimous support for the projects that's been proposed by the county. I would also comment that there's a couple of speakers that spoke in reference to maybe postponing the election till next year, and of course they admitted that we have hard economic times. Well, there's no better time than to get the best prices in these economic times, and at the same time give a lot of businesses and people work to do. Spending $101 million is going to put a lot of people to work, and it's going to help a lot of businesses in this county. So I commend the board on what y'all have done, and thank you very much, and thank you for the speakers tonight. All of it helps.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to add one note that I don't think anybody's brought up yet. If this all passes and the courthouse gets built, when the courthouse moves, no personnel moving to the new court building, that building will become available. And we have a lot of properties we now rent. We can then move those employees and those offices back into the old courthouse and save a lot of rent money.
All right, with that, we have our regular scheduled meeting. We're running a little behind. Without exception, Counselor, could we take a break until, say, 5:40? We'll start our meeting. Without exception, board. Without exception, council, we'll start our meeting. Mr. Mayor and council will start our meeting at 5:40.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor, do we move on to the SPLOST intergovernmental agreement, or shall we start adopting minutes and consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I think pursuant to the modification of the agenda, it's time to go to the new business item 1, which is consideration of SPLOST.
City coming, or doesn't matter?
There's no requirement for a particular order, but I'm speaking, so perhaps it might be good for the Board of Commissioners to take it up and make a motion if you were so inclined.
All right, is there a motion from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the intergovernmental agreement between Forsyth County, Georgia, and the city of Cumming related to SPLOST projects and the percentages as presented by the county attorney.
I'd like to second that with, I'd like to second that, but also have some comment.
Mr.
Second
Chairman,
for discussion, go right ahead.
I think it's very important that the city and the county maintains a great relationship. I know there's some people on both sides of the fence. I personally, every day that I head to the county, I do drive Castleberry or I drive County Mill home, and I know those roads are not state roads. Those are roads that the county and the city should both share. And I know that there's actually some portion that goes to the damage I do to that road every time the road that I put on. That being said, I would ask the mayor and the council, as they're deciding and making their final lists, that they would consider some of this lost money going to some either of the city curb look to make it appealing for folks who would love to come into your town and maybe little restaurants and such like that. I'd love to see you guys really thrive in that world. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Yes, I just wanted, for the county projects, this, and first of all, it was on page 2 that I find in my book. You mentioned page 3. I want to make sure I don't have the wrong information at the end of the projects are. Do you agree?
Well, I said page 5, but yes, it's what you said.
Okay. Take, for example, road, streets, bridges, and sidewalks, $70 million.
Yes.
What prevents, what allows a citizen to know where those will be built?
Well, the project list that was adopted at the work session is the best guide for how this money will be spent. And, we went to great lengths to divide that into Project A and Project B lists. And that's the best guide. The SPLOST law is very specific that when we make representations to the voters with respect to what the projects will be and try to incentivize and induce the voters based upon those discrete project lists, that we are held to them. And that's always the danger of making too many promises because we will be held to them even if SPLOST revenues don't come in the way they're estimated. But the answer to your question, Commissioner Boff, is that the citizens can look at our Project A list and can have comfort that we will build this project.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
One more thing, that list, will it be available online if people wanted to look it up prior to
Absolutely.
educating themselves?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, before if you take a vote, I just want to ask the maker of the motion and the individual to take a second. If in making the motion, you were anticipating that you were making the motion to approve the resolution approving the IGA. Is that, can I get a verbal yes on that?
Yes.
And the man in the second, yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I would like to amend the motion, if I can, please. I would like to amend the motion to change the reference to July 21st, 2011 to whatever the appropriate date is of the presidential election of 2012.
We have a motion to amend.
Commissioner Bob, just for clarification, that would go to the date that we hold the special election, or the election
Yes.
for this month? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We have a motion to amend. Motion dies for lack of a second. There's no further discussion. We vote on the main motion. And that motion passes 4-0 with Commissioner Amos having recused himself. Counselor, I think I'll refer to the
Mr. Chairman, at this point, I believe it would be appropriate to turn this matter over to the city, the mayor and the city council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Just a little insight to address Commissioner Levitt's thought process in reference to some streets. All of their projects are regional projects that we propose on our list. And when I say regional, it's not a city street that dead ends. Most of it, I can tell you that we have $2 million in park and recreation. We have $10.5 million in roads and intersections. And the majority of those roads and intersections are State Route 20 and Kelly Mill Road. That's a terrible intersection, is to redo that. All the way through to Maple Street intersection in State Route 20, Castleberry Road in State Route 20, Veterans Memorial in State Route 20, all the way to State Route 9. So that's a major portion. And also, the other intersection that's going to be a major player is the intersection of Elm Street, Ridgecrest, and Highway 9, straight out the road a couple of blocks where you turn to go to the hospital. That needs to be signalized, turning lanes and all, and that's another that we're working with the DOT on. That's the one. And I have left a copy at a previous meeting with the boards with reference to all of our other projects. Originally, the city we were talking about maybe $240 or $50 million originally, and when it was cut down to $200 million, originally we had like a little over $30 million worth of road projects in the city of Cumming and Park and Rec. That would do some major road work that would connect to county roads. And like I said, these are all regional. Nothing is within dead-end streets in the city of Cumming. So that hopefully will benefit not only traffic congestion in these intersections, but it'll help improve traffic and flow through Cumming and Forsyth County. So with that said,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I understand that those are good projects, and I thought I'd comment to it. Oh, I actually used some of those. My comment was also to just curb appeal. Maybe some of the roads, in your street lights, and maybe some cobblestone walks, and that kind of curb appeal. When you come to town, it just dress it up, where it's just attract a town that might attract more business and folks coming into your city to.
and I like that concept. I like that. We did a lot of that back in 1994 when we did the street improvements around the courthouse square, did all the sidewalks and stone, colored stones.
Yes, sir.
So that was done out of SPOS, and we got some state aid at that time, but there's no state aid anymore. But anyway, thank you. Thank you all of you commissioners. And at this time, the board has voted unanimously with Commissioner Amos abstaining on the IGA. I had previously said to pass the resolution first, but with the commissioners approving the intergovernmental agreement, which the document spells out the process of which the projects will be implemented and the split, and also so does the resolution. And I would recommend to the board that Chair will entertain a motion that we accept the proposal that's been presented to us by the Board of Commissioners unanimously. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion. Second.
I have 5 motions. I have a second.
All 5 seconds.
Yeah. 5 seconds. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilors, any more business that the city?
The only question I have is fairly procedural for the city, if they wanted to adjourn their meeting and take leave of us, they could, or they could say it's up to you, Mr. Mayor.
I also have a resolution that was sent over that while we have convened the city council of the city of Cumming, also the resolution, I feel it's important that we also adopt it while we're in session here. And so Chair will entertain a motion to the resolution that's been agreed to by the Board of Commissioners.
Make a motion.
Have a motion from Ruth. Have a second? Second from Quincy. In discussion. Please vote on it, signify by raising your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. I hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor signify. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Councilman, appreciate you coming. Counselor,
Sorry.
new business number 2 calls for the adoption of a resolution calling for an election. Do you want to take that up now, or do you want to go back to the adoption of the consent agenda?
I'd like to go back to the regular order of the agenda, we'll get to that in due course.
All right, thank you, Council.